Eighth Grade is directed by Bo Burnham. This is his first feature film as a director, and it stars Elsie Fisher as the main character. And this movie is basically about an introverted teenage girl who tries to survive the last week of her 8th grade year before leaving to start high school. This movie took a while to come to my area because it had kind of a limited release towards the middle of July, and then it started coming to more cities towards the end of the month, and I had been dying to see it because I heard so many good things about it. And I'm really glad I did, because 8th Grade is one of the best films of the year. This movie amazingly captures this weird, awkward time period in life, and it's such a blisteringly real and raw experience, to a point where you feel like you're watching real people interacting with each other. And a lot of that is due to the impeccable writing. One of my favorite things about this movie is that I feel like we've never had a more authentic portrayal of what the youth of today is like than in this film. We see our main character, who is really awkward and introverted and doesn't really know how to interact with people socially. And she's also on her phone half the time, she's on Instagram, and she's stalking her friends' accounts and stuff. And there's some scenes in this movie that I feel like older people wouldn't get, because there's some situations that only young people living in today's world can relate to. And it does that all really well. Elsie Fisher is absolutely phenomenal as Kayla. This is definitely one of my favorite performances of the year. It reminds me a little bit of Saoirse Ronan in Lady Bird, just because of how authentic and drastically real she feels. I felt like I saw myself in her character so many times, and I know other people will feel the same way because it's a performance that everyone can relate to. There's this one scene where she's at a pool party, and she doesn't really have the courage to talk to anybody at the party because she's really awkward, and she feels like she's on the outside of the in crowd. And when I was watching this scene, I was like, that was me in 8th grade. One thing that I thought was really cool about her character was that she's really awkward and she doesn't know how to handle social interactions and things like that. But she also has a YouTube channel in which she gives life advice on things like being yourself and having confidence and things like that. That's where a lot of the really interesting social commentary on the youth of today comes in, because it shows you how kids feel like they can be a different person online or on YouTube videos than they are in real life. And I thought that was really interesting. Also, I thought Josh Hamilton as the dad in this movie was so great. He's so funny, he's got some great chemistry with Elsie Fisher, and I really bought into him being her dad. And there's this one moment towards the end of the movie where they're together and they're sitting by a fire, and it's kind of like his big moment in the film, and it's definitely one of the best parts of the movie. I also thought this movie had some really good directing from Bo Burnham. The camera work is really cool in some scenes. Like there's this one where Kayla's on the phone and she's talking to one of her friends and she's in her room and she keeps pacing back and forth, and the camera follows her around during it, and I thought it was a really cool way of capturing the scene. There's one scene that takes place in a car, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it was so intense, and I was like white-knuckled and holding my breath during the whole thing. And that's really because of how invested I was in the characters. This film has a really nice message of growing up can be really hard, and that transition period into high school can be a really awkward time for a lot of people. But you're not alone in the challenges that you face, and the best thing to do is to just be yourself. And I thought that was a really nice message that this movie had. In regards to flaws that I have with 8th grade, it does kind of borrow from some other movies a little bit. It follows some of the same story beats that we see in movies like this. One is that Kayla has a crush on this boy that's not really a good kid, and then there's another guy that really likes her, that's really nice to her, and so she should kind of be with that guy. And that's definitely something we've seen before. And it was just little things like that here and there that kind of stuck out to me as I was watching the movie. But other than that, I don't really have any other flaws. 8th Grade is one of the best films I've seen this year. It has an amazing performance from Elsie Fisher. Josh Hamilton as well. This movie has some really great direction from Bo Burnham. I can't wait to see what he does next. I thought everything about the setting and the way it captured being an awkward teenager transitioning into high school was perfectly realized. It has one of the most authentic portrayals of the youth of today that I've ever seen in a movie. And I think this is a film that people are going to be talking about for a long time. I'm going to give 8th Grade a 9 out of 10. I'm sorry it took me so long to review this movie. I've had a lot to do in the past few weeks. But if you do get the chance, definitely go check out this film, because it's probably one of my favorite movies of the year right now. So guys, those are my thoughts on 8th Grade. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Also be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.